Tonight, a federal courtroom delivers a ruling that strikes at the heart of American democracy. Can a government punish states simply for how they voted? Did politics override the Constitution when billions of federal dollars were cut off? A federal judge now says, yes, it did. Good evening. Tonight, we bring you a major legal development out of Washington that could have long-lasting consequences for federal power, constitutional law, and political neutrality in government funding. A U.S. federal judge has ruled that the Trump administration violated the U.S. Constitution by canceling billions of dollars in federal energy grants. A decision the court says was driven by political bias. At the center of this ruling is a fundamental constitutional principle. The federal government cannot treat states differently based on their political beliefs or voting patterns. What is this case about? This case centers on federal energy and clean energy grants that were awarded to states and local governments across the country. These grants were intended to support energy infrastructure, renewable energy projects, and environmental innovation. However, during the Trump administration, billions of dollars in these grants were abruptly canceled. What raised immediate concern was this. The vast majority of the canceled projects were located in Democratic-leaning states. States that supported Trump politically were largely unaffected. What did the judge find? The case was heard by U.S. District Judge Amit P. Mehta. In his ruling, Judge Mehta stated that the administration's actions violated the equal protection component of the Fifth Amendment. The judge concluded that federal agencies used political considerations, specifically how states voted, when deciding which grants to terminate. According to the court, that conduct is unconstitutional. The ruling makes clear. Federal funding decisions cannot be used as political rewards or punishments. The court's order. Judge Mehta ordered the immediate restoration of 7 federal energy grants, totaling $27.6 million. These grants were among those that had been canceled without sufficient justification. The judge emphasized that while this ruling applies specifically to the grants before the court, it establishes a powerful legal principle regarding political neutrality in federal governance. Why political bias mattered? Court documents and evidence showed that officials evaluated state voting behavior when making funding decisions. Judge Mehta stated that once political affiliation becomes a factor in government decision-making, constitutional protections are breached. He wrote that the Constitution does not allow a sitting administration to favor or punish Americans based on electoral outcomes. Who was affected? The plaintiffs included cities, state agencies, and energy organizations, many from Democratic-leaning states such as Minnesota and California. They argued that their projects were fully approved, technically sound, and economically justified. Yet their funding was cut for reasons unrelated to performance or national interest. The court agreed. Government's defense, and why it failed, the Trump administration argued that the canceled grants did not align with national energy priorities or lacked financial merit. But the judge found these explanations inconsistent and unsupported by the record. Evidence showed that political alignment played a decisive role, some undermining the administration's defense. Why this ruling matters. This ruling sends a strong message across Washington. It reinforces that the Constitution limits executive power, even when federal funds are involved. It warns future administrations, regardless of party, that federal programs cannot be weaponized for political advantage. Legal experts say this decision could influence other cases involving federal funding, education grants, infrastructure programs, and disaster relief. What happens next? The Department of Energy has indicated it may appeal the ruling. If appealed, the case could move to a higher federal court, potentially shaping national precedent. For now, the restored grants represent a legal victory, but also a warning. Final thoughts. This case is not just about energy funding. It is about whether democracy is protected when political power changes hands. It is about whether the Constitution still acts as a guardrail against political retaliation. Tonight, a federal judge made one thing clear. In the United States, votes are not grounds for punishment, and the Constitution still matters.